Howdy, howdy, howdy. My name is Nachi Sasuke. Welcome back to Let's Read the SP Foundation Wiki. So, I spent a good chunk of today not sure what I wanted to record. I was thinking of doing Oxenfree, and then my brain was like, no, you gotta do this! So, I almost didn't record anything at all. But then I was listening to Spotify, and I got a SCP song? And I felt like if that ain't the universe slapping upside the head with what I should do today, I don't know what is. So, in the last episode, I believe we read the how-to book, A Hole in the Wall, Face Swapper, Echoing Epitaph, and Minus Level. I remember the Face Swapper. I don't remember reading Perfect Lab Specimen. Or I don't know. I definitely do not remember the highly immature and completely unofficial parody. But let's start at Lab Specimen and see what's what. Well, it's safe. SCP-1166 is to be contained in an Animal Testing Laboratory 51F at Site 23. It is to be maintained in accordance with established care and feeding protocols for Rattus norvegicus and housed in an appropriate enclosure. Okay, so it's probably just a rat. As of blankety blank 2011, all research projects and experiments involving 1166 must be submitted to the Site 23 Ethics Committee for approval. Is this one of those things where it's not actually a rat? At the committee's discretion, a Class C amnestic is to be administered to 1166 after completion of designated projects and experiments, with a minimum recuperation period of 2 weeks before the commencement of additional research. All staff initially assigned to work with SCP-1166 are to be briefed by the research director on its anomalous qualities. Staff may request assignment on an alternate project if immediately following the initial briefing. Description: SCP-1166 is a laboratory rat displaying an appearance consistent with a normal instance of R. norvegicus. Blood samples taken from 1166 revealed that it is a genetically manipulated chimera, with samples containing an abnormally high percentage of human cells. Probably 90-something point something percent. In comparison with previously documented non-anomalous specimens, so normal rats do not have human cells in them, at least they shouldn't, unless they've been eating them, like the ones from Dishonored. Biopsies reveal the presence of a significant amount of human brain tissue and human nerve cells in the spinal cord. 1166 has been demonstrated to mimic human biology almost exactly in an extensive battery of control tests involving D-class personnel, with analogous reactions to radiation exposure, heat/cold tolerance, rapid decompression, pathogens including Marburg virus, rabies, blank, and smallpox, toxins, and other external factors. SCP-1166 displays tolerances to experimental conditions equal to those expected of a 65-kilogram human male. Upon death, 1166 will spontaneously revive after a period of between 18 to 45 minutes. Tissue, vital organs, and bodily fluids are seemingly regenerated prior to revival, to the point where severed limbs have been documented to grow back. As documented in the intake report and subsequent cognition tests, 1166 is sapient and fully capable of communicating in English with research staff when provided with proper means. Recovery Log 1166. Following reports received by Undercover Agents Monitoring Blank Corporation, a pharmaceutical firm, SCP-1166 was recovered clandestinely, ooh, that nice word, by Foundation operatives on blankety blank blank during initial trials for blank, an experimental psychotropic drug. Notes confiscated from these trials indicated that corporate management was aware of 1166's heightened intelligence and ability to communicate, and as such had identified it as a highly desirable test subject for neurochemical-based pharmaceuticals. No other rats in the possession of Blank Corporation were observed to demonstrate the anomalous properties exhibited by 1166. It is currently unknown how the corporation obtained a specimen that apparently was the end product of genetic engineering far surpassing currently available technology. After recovery of 1166, Class C amnestics were administered to Blank researchers and 3 executives of the corporation. An H-type internet-based disinformation campaign was commenced by staff due to several references to 1166 by a radical animal rights group. Intake Report 1166. Upon assuming custody of SCP-1166, Dr. Somebody conducted the following interview. 1166 was provided with a specially modified touchpad in order to respond to staff inquiries through a text generator. Please provide a brief description of yourself for the record, SCP-1166. Written response: am a white laboratory rat, specimen R82611. No, when herding starts when the say R82611. SCP-1166, do you know why you are currently in the possession of the Foundation? Foundation makes Dr. Blank stop hurting we. Foundation not hurt we? I am not going to hurt you, SCP-1166. Now, you've been observed to experience a state indistinguishable from clinical death, and then subsequently revive, yet you retain memories prior to each instance of death. Is this accurate? No response. Is this accurate, SCP-1166? R82611 remember many, many times. Painful, but better now, Doctor? Are you aware of other specimens similar to yourself in existence? No. Do you have any insight as to how you came to be self-aware and able to communicate with humans? No. That will be all, SCP-1166. Addendum. Prior to the commencement of Experiment 3, Researcher Blank filed a formal complaint with the Site-23 Ethics Committee. Relevant documentation as follows. Request for review by Site Ethics Committee. SCP involved, SCP-1166. Requested by Researcher Blank. Priority B2. Comments. SCP-1166 displays intelligence that may be equivalent to that of a normal human, along with emotions such as sadness, anxiety, and fear. Unlike a standard D-Class subject, 1166 has not committed any crimes against established society, nor has it consented to any commentary expunged. Carrying out Experiment 3, or indeed any of the other planned research slated for 1166, will be an act of wanton cruelty for no purpose except to confirm what we already know. Science does not require that we abandon our morals such as they are in this place, and neither I nor any other researchers can continue the inhumane treatment of this poor being. We still have consciences, damn it! Memorandum to Dr. Blank from the Site-23 Ethics Committee regarding review request 1166. After 3 rounds of voting over a 2-day period involving numerous abstentions by members, by a 7-6 decision, the committee has approved further testing involving SCP-1166, provided that updated parameters regarding its use are adopted. While the committee recognizes the objections of Researcher Blank regarding intrusive and painful testing on a sapient and non-consenting life form, SCP-1166 displays properties that must be understood and documented in full by the Foundation. SCP-1166's regenerative properties in particular merit further study. Applied knowledge of its principles may have great benefit both in the containment of dangerous phenomena and in use by the Foundation staff. This being said, measures to minimize distress to 1166 are authorized and encouraged. The committee recommends use of amnestics to reduce 1166's memories of particularly traumatic events, and, after review of Experiment Log 2, anesthesia for medical procedures is now required. Research staff are encouraged to communicate with 1166 on a daily basis regarding non-mission sensitive topics as a further means of documenting its anomalous intelligence. Upon his request, Researcher Blank has been transferred to work on SCP Blank. Director, whoever you are. Okay, so it was a normal rat, so to speak. It was not just a person shaped like a rat. It was a rat that had something done to it to the point that it had, as I said, full sapience. And some of the researchers were like, okay, what we're doing is messed up. We're doing experiments that make it die, and it remembers it, and it, no. And now for a disembodied robot head, which is either going to be just as messed up as the perfect lab specimen, or Keter, who knows. Well, it's Euclid. SCP-1167 and any related objects are to be stored in a 3x3x3 meter chamber. I don't know why they don't say 3 meters cubed unless they don't have a cube button on whoever keyboard wrote this anyway. Chamber at Site 1167-2. Each is to be kept in a locked case equipped with a security camera. Site 1167 number 1 is to be staffed by 2 security personnel at all times disguised as forest rangers. Exploration temporarily suspended. Any anomalous materials or items found at Site 2, I'm just going to say it like that now, Site 1 and 2, are to be studied and cleared by Dr. Stinson before being brought into contact with 1167. Description. SCP-1167 is an automaton, approximately 20 centimeters tall, consisting of a control unit attached to an articulated arm and a flat base. The subject's components are of unknown manufacture and utilize an advanced power source that has not required recharging at any point during containment, however long that has been. 1167 was discovered by spelunkers and redacted, and delivered to local authorities who pass it on to Foundation personnel. Site 1 has been established at the discovery location. 1167 is capable of limited locomotion, by pushing at the ground with the base of its arm to gradually propel the control unit forward. That sounds terrifying to witness. Left alone, 1167 will attempt to navigate outside of any containing structure, at which point it will adopt a heading towards 23.56 south, 68.11 west, changing direction only to avoid obstacles. 1167 is capable of synthesized speech, but does not respond to questions. It continually repeats the following message in 124 languages, including 8 dead languages and 15 which have not been identified. Broadcast alert. Recovery failed. Initiate retreat and seek reinforcements. Alert. Alert. I feel like if I was in the woods or wherever it is they found this thing, and I just saw a robotic arm dragging itself through the woods going, alert, recovery failed, I would either run for my life or probably beat the arm to death and then run for my life. Anyway, if a nearby person speaks approximately 5 full sentences of a specific language, 1167 will use that language exclusively until the person leaves the immediate area. Between each repetition, 1167 will produce a 1-second burst of static. The sound is identical each time, but has not yielded any meaningful information. So it's probably just like, a telegram when you say the thing and then go stop? Maybe, I don't know. SCP-1167 was delivered to multiple testing sites and placed on the ground to track movement over 100 meters. This information was used to triangulate the subject's possible destination. A research team was sent to the location, which is in the vicinity of the Monturaquay crater in Chile. An initial survey yielded no anomalous discoveries. 1167 was delivered to the site and placed upon the ground. SCP-1167 scanned the environment before speaking. Scan complete. Conveyance missing. Maintain location and await reinforcements. And probably also static. Site 2 has been established for further study and excavation of the target location. Several anomalous objects have been located and presented to 1167 to produce additional messages. Addendum 1. A mechanical hand with similar construction to 1167 discovered 220 meters northeast of Site 2, 5 meters below ground. The wrist is cleanly severed. Scan complete. Missing component relocated. Retained for repair. Number 2. Unnatural scarring of a section of bedrock measuring 150 by 1 meters discovered 1 kilometer northeast of Site 2, 8 meters below ground. Sample acquired. Scan complete. Archive status report. Weapon modification ineffective. Continue pursuit. A non-functioning control unit similar to 1167 minus the ARM base. Recovered during an exploration of the cave system under Site 1. 4 members of the exploration team remain missing. Reaction. Scan complete. Archive status report. Unit leader terminated. Target lost. Initiate retreat. Okie dokie? So is the thing that's Euclid the arm and not whatever the arm was looking for? Because it sounds like whatever the arm was looking for is a problem. Anywho, now it's time for a highly immature and completely unofficial parody. It's safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-1168 is stored with a hermetically sealed containment unit in Sector 19. I'm reading it weird because it said it's a parody, but I feel like it's probably much more sinister than that title implies. But personnel assigned to Sector 19 must not fit Profile Alpha 1168C Addendum 1 or Profile Beta 1168C Addendum 2, which apparently are not even in here since they got their own separate links, unless they're just these down here. It looks like it. Description. SCP-1168 is a copper sculpture identical to the works Statue of Theseus by Gorgios, that guy, Fatalis. I am not a history major. Dating indicates it was created at least blank years after the genuine sculpture. If the sculpture's left hand are 30 silver coins, in the sculpture's left hand are 30 silver coins dating from circa 30, stamped with the 1977 design of Chuck E. Cheese game tokens. Inscribed on the outer side of Theseus' shield is the phrase, whatever that means, and it translates to, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Inscribed on the inner side of Theseus' shield is the phrase, sic Davido saevim prostovit, corporis Theseus, which might be Theseus. So let's say, from Catalyst 64. Thus Theseus laid low the savage one with the body having been conquered. inscription appears to have been engraved at some time after acquisition. It is... Ow. Bit my cheek. It is currently unknown how this engraving occurred. 1168 displays no anomalous properties while inactive. Screw this. Okay. The object activates whenever 170 or more meters of yarn is placed into the sculpture's right hand. It closes its right hand around the yarn is annihilated by anomalous means, and the object enters a pending state. When it is in a pending state, it will appear inactive until a human subject fitting profile alpha or profile beta enters the radius of effect, which is... it equals the length of yarn. When a human subject fitting profile alpha enters the area of effect, it will unclench its right hand and move its right arm to point its tertiary finger in the direction of the subject for at least 5 seconds. The time is equal to the length of the string in meters divided by 34. After which it will return to its pending state. Subject is subsequently designated 1. When a human fitting profile beta enters the area of effect, it will move its left arm to point 2 fingers in the direction of the subject for at least 10 seconds. Time is equal to the length of string in meters divided by 17. After which it will return to its inactive state. Subject is subsequently designated 2. Whenever 1 and 2 simultaneously exist, 1168 will deactivate, and 1 will instantly materialize a wooden club and be encased in a 3-meter cube of ice. 2 will seek instances of 1. 2 is unaware of this and possesses no knowledge of 1 outside of what was known before designation. And initiate ritualized interaction, see Addendum 3. After completion, 2 ceases designation. The ice surrounding 1 is impervious to any interference and melts at a rate of 176 milliliters per day. After 1 is free of the ice, subject ceases designation. Okay? Addendum 1, Document Alpha. Profile Alpha subjects have public records of any of a list of sex crimes. See Document Alpha 1168 for a list of currently known crimes which fulfill the criterion. Looks like that's not here, and I'm fine with that. Addendum 2. Profile Beta subjects are blonde Caucasian men aged 15 to 18, all are in their junior year of high school. Addendum 3. I don't like where this is going. Log of interaction between 1 and 2. Forward. Log of interaction appears similar to a scene from the video The Misadventures of Skooks, Part 3 of 6 from YouTube user Orpheus for the Win. 2 faces 1 from its left side. Boy, am I glad he's frozen in there and that we're out here, and that 1 materializes a brown Stetson on its head and a golden badge in the shape of a 6-pointed star on its breast. He's the sheriff and develops a thin layer of frost around its skin, that we're frozen out here, and that 2 teleports into 1's block of ice. This does not hinder 2's speech, which originates from its position at the start of the interaction. We're in there, and I just remembered teleports into its initial position, that we're out here, but what I want to know is, where's the sex offender? What? What the heck is this video? Oh, it's Scooby-Doo! Apparently.
Am I glad he's frozen in there and that we're out here and that he's the sheriff and that we're frozen out here and that we're in there and I just remembered we're out here. What I want to know is where's the caveman?
I feel like I've seen that before, but I didn't know it was called The Misadventures of Skooks. But without having seen that, I was never going to understand what the hell this was. Okay, so what's the addendum 4? Interviewed Jude Kriot. And that goes to the assassination of beleaguered normalcy in by the Coward game. Male, 23. Interviewer, Agent O blank. Forward, on blankety blank 2000 something, SCP-1168 was on public display in the Syntagma Square in Athens, Greece. It is currently unknown when 1168 replaced the original sculpture. According to eyewitness account, the interview subject approached 1168, after which the object entered an active state and selected 1 and 2 from nearby individuals. Interview subject was taken into custody by blank police along with 11 other witnesses. Begin log at 350 something something 2000 something. I'm just going to ask you a few questions. Okay. Or I guess Jude. Okay. Your name is Jude Kriot, correct? Yeah? You're a student from Redacted. Was. Not really doing much these days. Why did you do something to the statue? Statue? I thought this was about the dude free. Please answer the question, Mr. Kriot. Sorry, I got a letter from an old teacher. He had stuff, you know. He told me to do it or that, stuff would, you know, the stuff would be aired. We sent some letters back and forth. I was asking how he'd know. He dodged it by saying he had friends in the area. Do you still have these letters? I've only got a few left. I took to burning them after a bit, but I can get them if that won't be necessary, thank you. A raid on Mr. Krat's home after the interview discovered letters confirming correspondence with said teacher. Ashes were found in the trash can. Could you describe this man to me? Okay, old white dude, probably in his 70s, gray hair, pretty long, usually wears a ponytail. Description and letters correspond to person of interest blank, which is called the critic. Former teacher redacted. Do you know why he wanted you to place the yarn on the statue? Well, he knew me and he knew he had me by the balls. Allow me to rephrase. Do you know his reasoning for wanting the yarn placed on the statue? Yeah, he mentioned that it was a metaphor or something. He was a sucker for bullshit, sorry, pompous gestures. It's alright. Could you explain what you mean by appeal? Well, you know, Theseus killed the Minotaur, which goes to SCP-1800. Dude's old. Told me his health wasn't the best, thought maybe this would make the old gods happier or something. He, also knew my health wasn't the best, mentioned something about it doing the same for me. Were you expecting the statue to move? What? Did you think the statue would move? Oh. We have witnessing the statue pointed at Mr. Blank and Mr. Blank. If you remain silent for 1 minute. Are you alright, Mr. Griat? No, I'm not alright. Would you like to take a moment? No, I can continue. Why the silence? I'm sorry, it reminded me of some shit. Some shit? Yeah, look, man. I burned the letters for a reason. The teacher had an art group at the college. He asked me to show up once. An art group? Yeah, when I got there, it was a warehouse, I guess. A private art show. There was a statue, sculpture, whatever, fucking dolly thing. Moved when you put a coin in it. Which is also SCP-1800. And she was there. There because I was there. Because I told her it was cool. Avery remained silent for 1 minute. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I knew her. I don't want to. I knew her and she trusted me, and I was young and I was stupid, so fucking stupid, and I wasn't told what was happening until I looked, and I should have fucking known. And she's fucking gone. She's gone. She's fucking gone because of me. Because I couldn't fucking stand it. Because I fucking left my skin. Just slunk away to myself like a fucking snake shedding its filthy, stupid, fucking rotten husk of itself. I checked out because I was a coward. She's gone. And someone I knew had made it. And it was fucking praised. They fucking clapped. They clapped like it was just some fucking piece of performance art, and I just sat there. Stupid fucking useless me, watching on as it happened. After the show, they told me I was young, and I just didn't understand art or the point they were trying to make, which leads to different kinds of nihilism. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't see the statue. I didn't see this statue move. I'm sorry. Fuck. Interviewee remained silent for 2 minutes. I'm sorry, Mr. Kriot. Interviewer declines to respond. I'm sorry. Thank you for your time. Closing statement. Due to possible connections between Jude Kriot and the group of interest AWCY, Mr. Kriot was subject to further interrogation, which failed to garner any useful intelligence. He was administered a prophylactic Class B amnestic to suppress any knowledge of 1168, 1800, and AWCY. It was unknown whether Mr. Kriot had knowledge of any further groups of interest at this time. Due to Kriot is now identified as POI 6870, current evidence suggests Mr. Kriot was the creator of the object. Gamers Against Weed. Okay. Well, that was something. Anyway, Lamarck's giraffe. A highly immature and completely unofficial parody. I I'm pretty sure I said that it's probably gonna be super sinister and messed up, going against what the title was. I said it. I said it, and I'm pretty sure that is the most times I've said fuck in a single. I'm pretty sure in this entire series, and we're like 220 something episodes deep, and I don't think I've said fuck that many times in the whole series up until now. But anyway, Lamarck's giraffe. It's safe, or is it? SCP-1169, nice, is kept in an airtight steel protective container with shaped foam rubber padding to prevent damage. It is to be treated as biohazardous material. All subjects contaminated by it by one, and all resulting offspring are to be terminated and incinerated as biologically hazardous material after useful observations have been exhausted. Assignment preference will be given to staff who are irreversibly infertile. Okay. SCP-1169 is a large glass storage vessel containing a fetal estimated to be in the 13th month of gestation at time of preservation. Giraffa camelopardalis, preserved in formaldehyde. Does that mean that giraffes are related to camels, or am I just stupid? I'm not a scientist either. Container includes a glass lid and rubber gasket held closed by a lever mechanism typical of mason jars, although no brand markings are present. Gasket and metal are both heavily age deteriorated. The preserved specimen shows no genetic abnormalities, but features several internal and external deformities. Most notably, a much shorter neck than is typical for a giraffe at the presumed stage of development. The preserving fluid, designated 1, includes several unusual impurities, including traces of platinum, tungsten, human insulin, and 3 unidentifiable, lost half the word there, organic compounds. See document 1169-1 lambda for spectrographic analysis. It's not here, so I guess we don't get to see that. Despite otherwise possessing the same evaporation and freezing properties of standard formaldehyde, one evaporates at a constant rate until it reaches a uniform concentration of 250 ppm in the surrounding atmosphere. I don't know what that means. This process is unaffected by ambient temperature or pressure within limits testable without damaging it. The volume 1 does not decrease due to evaporation or samples removed. If inhaled, or allowed to remain in prolonged contact, one will quickly be absorbed into the circulatory system of all plants and animals and will accumulate in the reproductive organs, testes, ovaries, fruiting buds, etc. One does not dissipate from organic systems naturally and cannot be artificially removed short of surgical excision of the reproductive organs. Anomalous effects will be demonstrated in all subsequent offspring, with severity determined by concentration of one present in the parent's tissues during gestation. Did the babies turn into giraffes? It sounds like they're going to turn into giraffes. Stage 1, 15 to 75 ppm. Features of the contaminated parent will be overwhelmingly dominant in this offspring, despite genetic differences typical of parent and child. Offspring will have a high probability, 80% of all observed cases, of being the same gender as the contaminated parent, with a similar chance of developing any congenital defects observed in the parent. Mature offspring strongly resemble the parent at a similar age, so they're dang near clones at that rate. Stage 2, 75 to 220 ppm. Offspring will be physically identical to the contaminated parent at any given stage of development. All congenital defects and phenotype expressions are exactly reproduced to beyond testable limits. Note, parent and child are not genetically identical, instead showing the expected distribution of genes from both parents. But genes from the unexposed parent are not expressed. This can lead to cases where the offspring is genetically female, but physically and functionally male, or vice versa. Stage 3, 120 to 180 ppm. As in Stage 2, with additional physical anomalies developing in the offspring over time. Offspring will spontaneously develop any and all physical changes that the parent experienced at a comparable stage of development. Offspring will experience unprovoked and untreatable necrosis to match an amputated limb, spontaneous ruptures of the skin and flesh which when healed exactly match parental scar patterns, and atypical shifts in skin pigmentation resulting in reproduction of tattoos. Offspring will express the same fingerprints, retinal patterns, and other biometric indicators as the parent. Any kinesthetically learned skills will also be transferred from parent to child, but more cerebrally developed proficiencies are not. E.g., subject D116948 was a skilled concert pianist. Her offspring was able to proficiently perform Moonlight Sonata after being provided with a recording, but was not able to interpret the associated sheet music even under extreme duress. Skills learned by the parent after conception are not duplicated. How Who is Lamarck, and how does that have anything to do with a giraffe? Who's Lamarck? John Baptist Lamarck, a soldier, biologist, and academic, and early proponent of the idea that biological evolution occurred and proceeded in accordance with natural laws. Okay. Also, the reason I'm using Bing instead of Google right now is because free points. Anyway, that brings us to Romantic Ghost, which might also be super sinister instead of what it implies. It's Euclid. Special containment procedures. Due to the incorporeal nature of 2, it cannot be moved to a safe distance from local residents. As such, Area 1170 has been built around 1. The entire apartment complex has been blocked off. However, due to its rather public location, Foundation personnel are required to maintain disguises when in view. Shift changes for guards stationed at Area 1170 occur every 3 hours. No personnel are to enter 1, and it used to say, except in special cases, and now it says, don't do it! It doesn't say that, but it means it. It means it. Description: 1171 is a windowless bedroom located on the second floor of apartment 21 in the blankety-blank apartment complex somewhere in British Columbia. The room measures 8.5 by 11 by 3.2 meters with hardwood floors and concrete walls. Concrete wall. It appears empty on all security footage. The room cannot be illuminated by visible light except the built-in light fixture, as one seems to absorb all visible wavelengths. The interior of the room appears pitch black when viewed without specialized equipment. It used to say, light outside the visible spectrum appears to encounter no resistance from 1, allowing use of infrared and night vision cameras. Now it says, all light with wavelengths shorter than 1 meter is in some way affected by 1. It is not known whether radio waves are also manipulated. I don't know why I said manipulated. Audio recording devices have been shown to be at least partially functional. 1170-1's anomalous properties are triggered upon activation of the room's built-in light fixture, located approximately 0.75 meters from the door on the west-facing wall. Subjects present when the light is on claim that the bedside lamps in the room activate, although security footage shows no change in luminescence and infrared cameras do not detect any heat source other than the subjects. In addition, others describe the room as having a bed, a fireplace, 2 bedside tables, blank, and 2 lamps, none of which appear in security footage. It used to say it is theorized this effect may be purely psychic in nature. Approximately 1 minute and 30 seconds after the light fixture is activated, an entity hereafter, SCP-1172, appears on night vision cameras, though only barely, as wavelengths emitted are only up to 10 to the 6th meters in length? Is that 10 to the negative 6? I don't know. 2's anatomy is apparently humanoid except for its inverted joints. It used to say footage taken shows no interaction between the subject and 2. At some point between 2 seconds and 40 minutes after 2 appears, both it and any foreign objects in the room, including cameras, external lights, and test subjects, vanish. 2 is visible only to human subjects who have been present in 1 for the entirety of the time between the most recent activation of the light fixture and the subsequent appearance of 2. Exiting the room is not recommended while 2 is present in the room as data expunged. Used to say it is unclear whether or not 2 physically exist or simply a near-infrared illusion produced by 1. Subjects inside 1 are seen to converse with a partner while 2 is present. The content of these conversations suggests they are in fact speaking with 2. Furthermore, the sudden emotional changes experienced by subjects conversing with the entity suggest that 2 may have a mimetic effect. 2 has avoided all direct questions about any subjects related to love and unrelated to love and romantic partnership. Objects occasionally appear at random in 1. Most are mundane and have no apparent anomalous properties. However, there have been several instances of blood appearing on the walls, roof, and floor of the room. Genetic testing revealed it to belong to the Class D personnel who had disappeared along with 2. Fecal matter, semen, saliva, and data expunged have also been recovered, all consistent with previous test subjects. Then there's a transcript of an audio log. Forward, the audio received during this test were put on a frequency of redacted, as well as being placed in new locations around 1 in hopes of receiving more intelligible audio. Log begins immediately after manifestation of 2. D20192 is the sole test subject. Oh my god, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Please don't be scared. I only came here for you. Wait, what? For me? I'm a criminal. What do you want with me? I want to love you. We can be together. Are you even a chick? I'm not into that other thing. I'm not sure what a chick is, but I can assure you that our love will fit well. Dude, this is fucking weird. Oh god, I just... We can do it. This is where we can live. No barren residence but with ungratefuls. Don't appreciate you. I want to love you. I want... I love you. I need you. Afterward, less than 4 seconds after the conclusion of this audio log, 2 and the disposable dude simultaneously disappeared from the room. So it wasn't as sinister as it could have been. I mean, as far as sinister things go, random haunted apartment for the express purpose of a ghost saying, I love you, give me a hug, and then you disappear and might later come back as blood poop splatter all over the walls? I guess the relationship didn't work out. But that being said, that does it for whatever number we're up to for this episode of Let's Read the SP Foundation Wiki. In the next episode, we'll be reading Humans Go Home, Double Word Scare, the Islamic Republic of Eastern Samothrace, the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and Bovine Icon and Guards. These titles are getting really weird, man, but if you liked it, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you don't need to do either one of those things. If you want to click the bell, you can do that as well so that you're notified of future uploads whenever they happen to happen. And I will see y'all in the next one. Later!